and your fear greater success while seizing new opportunities. It is so significant to have a positive mindset, more especially under these circumstances. So this network has the potential to completely revolutionize every aspect of your life and career. My name is Dr. Riel Ngunene, and I'm going to be your host for today. So if you're watching us online, please feel free to put in the chat box where you're watching us from and what you hope to achieve from our podcast. Oh my goodness, today we are surrounded by greatness in the world wide web. We have amazing speakers who's going to share some nuggets on human rights, which are God-given fundamental rights and freedoms. So in California, we have Hannah O'Brien. And then in Atlanta, we have Sadie Evans.
Hello, everyone.
And from the Philippines, we have Dr. Archie Dizon.
Hello, everyone.
And in Vienna, Austria, we have Elena Apalkova. So at this moment, I'm just gonna let our speakers introduce themselves. So you can go ahead, Hannah.
Hi, thank you so much for having me here. My name is Hannah O'Brien. As well as being a stress and anxiety coach, I'm also an entrepreneur, a speaker, and a mental health advocate. And I'm super passionate about helping people reduce their stress and anxiety through different types of fun coping skills and thought reframing techniques. And I just help people get back to living a normal life after dealing with some chronic stress and anxiety. It was something that I overcame myself before I taught other people how to do it, and it was something I became certified in. And so far, I've been lucky enough to help a lot of people with it and share a lot of free knowledge. So I'm really excited to be here. I'm honored to be speaking at this Human Rights Summit, and I'm super excited to see what kind of topics we'll uncover today. So thank you so much for having me, and I can't wait to get started.
Wow, it's such a great honor to have you, Hannah. You can go ahead, Sadie, and introduce yourself.
My name is Sadie Evans. I'm an author. I'm a speaker. I'm a survivor of domestic violence and childhood trauma. I'm someone who used the obstacles that happen in life as a staircase to get to my success.
Awesome. It's a great honor again to have you on this channel. You can go ahead, Dr. Dizon, and introduce yourself, sir.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Archie Dizon. I'm a school principal, a writer, a research director, and at the same time, a seminar director. Thank you for having me here.
Oh, it's such a great honor to have you, Dr. Dizon. You can go ahead, Elena, and introduce yourself. You are muted.
Hello, everyone. I am excited to be here. I am Elena from Ukraine originally, and recently we came to Vienna. I am mindset coach. I also am a Procter Gallagher Institute consultant, if you know Bob Proctor and watch the movie Secret. So I help people to change their paradigms and achieve their big goals. And especially I choose to work with ambitious employees who have desire to transform from being just employee and having work from 9 to 5 to become successful entrepreneurs and start life of their dreams by using their high mental faculties and creating a different world for themselves and to get more freedom and create their abundance.
Oh my goodness. So you can see, good people, that we are really surrounded by greatness. But you know what? Because human rights, it's quite a sensitive subject. So we always have a disclaimer here at Rise to Greater Heights Network. We are only here to provide legal information about human rights to the public. So legal information is not the same as legal advice as to the application of law to an individual specific circumstance. So I strongly recommend that you can consult a lawyer, because we cannot offer any legal advice on specific questions that are going to be posed today. So if you need help on such, please consult a lawyer. So Hannah, I have a question for you. If you happen to have your own billboard, I can see your billboard coming down there, maybe in the busy highway in California, what will your billboard say?
If I had one, my billboard would probably say, stress and anxiety isn't permanent or lifelong, and there is hope for you and there's help for you. I think that's a big thing that a lot of my clients and people that come to me don't necessarily know. And so if I could scream it to the world, I would.
Wow, I love it. I love the hope in everything, because I believe in faith, which is the substance of things hoped for. So I hope. So
Yeah.
I love it. And how about you, Sadie? What will your billboard say? Maybe your billboard is already down there in the busy highway in Atlanta. What will it say?
Grow through what you go through.
Grow through what you go through. I love it. Wow. How about you, Dr. Dizon? What will your billboard say? Maybe it's already there in the Philippines. Who knows? What will your billboard say?
It will be Go Education Fight. Go Education Fight.
Oh my goodness, a love of education. I love it. How about you, Elena? Maybe it's hiding down there in Austria, or I don't know. What will your billboard say?
It would be find your true life purpose and mission and live the fulfilled life doing what you really love to do.
I love all of the billboards. Like, love what you really, you say what? Love what you do, right?
Live the fulfilled life,
Mm-hmm.
doing what you really love to do.
What you really love to do. I love it. So I believe mine can be the fifth billboard driving down the highway, and it's going to say rise to greater heights, because you know what? The sky is no longer the limit, but the sky is our point of view. So let's rise to greater heights, and it's coming. So we're going to get started with Hannah O'Brien. Hannah O'Brien is a certified stress and anxiety coaching expert, as well as a mental health advocate and an inspirational speaker. She helps people to learn new and fun ways of overcoming their anxiety and stress. Hannah's passion is helping people with their mental health and sharing the story of her own journey. So if you like to know more about her journey, or you inquire about her coaching, be sure to check her out on her website. It's hannahobrien.com. And she thank you so much for listening and hopes you enjoy the show. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Hannah O'Brien.
So sweet. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. I think that one of the most important things that we can learn right now is how to deal with our stress and anxiety, especially in a time when our human rights are not being put first. I think it's really scary for a lot of people out there, and it can bring on a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety. So I'm excited to kind of set the tone of some things that we can do if we're getting anxious while we're talking about these things, or if these kind of emotions are bubbling up for us. But overcoming stress and anxiety is a topic that I like to talk on a lot. It's usually something that affects people at least once in their life, whether people have generalized anxiety disorder or they experience a normal amount of anxiety. They might experience a normal amount of stress, or it might be chronic stress, but no matter what you're experiencing, a lot of the coping skills and positive coping mechanisms that I'm going to talk about today can be used for just about everybody. So I think that's really exciting. When I'm dealing with overcoming stress and anxiety, and I've got somebody that's new that's coming to me and is looking for different ways to overcome it, I always start with looking at the before, what I like to call the before, the during, and the after. It's just a way to identify if it's anxiety, what's happening with the anxiety, what's triggering it, and kind of what we're doing to deal with it, so that we can move through in a logical pattern what's happening and figure out what's going on. And so an example of that might be starting with a moment that triggers anxiety. For me, a lot of times it would be I'd wake up in the morning and I'd feel anxious. So we'd want to look at, okay, what's happening right before the moment in question is what I like to call it. And that might be I didn't really get a good night's sleep. That could be maybe I had nightmares the night before. So there might be a couple of different things that are going on. So I would journal, okay, or write down in a safe spot, okay, this is what's happening before. And then during, I would write down any physical symptoms I was feeling, like I'm feeling breathless, I'm feeling like my chest is tight, any physicalized sensations that we experience when we're experiencing high levels of stress or high levels of anxiety. And then we also want to take a look at what's happening afterwards. How are we dealing with the stress and anxiety? Are we using a positive coping skill? Are we using a negative coping skill? Are we not doing anything at all? Are we just kind of trying to muscle our way through it and move on with our day? So it's really important to kind of take a look at that before, during, and after, and it really helps us identify the triggers and it helps identify solutions. So whether or not you have a moment in question where you're like, I'm not sure if this is anxiety or not, I encourage you to try and do that exercise of before, during, and after, because I find it's really helpful in figuring out if it's anxiety, and helping to discuss that with your doctor too can really kind of help them go in the right direction with getting you a diagnosis. But one really important thing that I also like to work on is working on thought reframing and gaining perspective into a positive mindset. I always set my clients up with positive affirmations. It's one of the first things that I give when people are really struggling with a lot of high stress and anxiety. A lot of times we don't realize the stories or the narratives that we're telling ourselves or that are kind of running in our head in the background, and we're not really paying attention. So making sure that positive talk and that voice in our head is talking kindly to ourselves and is on our side, because we want to be on our own side. There are so many people who are not on our side. We deserve at the very least to be on our own side. You're worth being on your own side. And so just kind of setting up that mindset with those affirmations really helps get us in a spot where daily we're thinking positively. And when we're cultivating positivity in the brain absorbs what's inside of it and it takes more of what's in it, which is a lot of times when we're anxious, we'll get more anxious, or if we're focusing on negative thoughts, more negative thoughts will come. So a lot of times if we can redirect our focus to the positive, it can help our brain grab onto something else. So I always like to recommend that as well. And then just trying to honestly take your time with it and be patient with yourself. Just remembering that the changes that we'll talk about here and the positive coping skills we'll talk about, it takes about 65 to 70 days for some of these things to become automatic for your brain, or for your brain to automatically recognize these things and utilize them as they come up. So just be kind to yourself, be patient, just work on it, and realize that we all have good days, we all have bad days. Some days your best is going to look different. Each day your best might look a little bit different. So always just do your best. Some of the really awesome positive coping skills that I wanted to share with you guys that are really amazing and that you can start implementing today. One of the first ones that I always like to share is called the rainbow method, and not many people know about this one. It's a grounding technique, and it is utilized to bring yourself from a level of really high anxiety to a level of lower anxiety. It can be used for children, it can be used for adults, for teens, for parents, for just about anybody. And how the rainbow method works is you'll start in a room and you'll look around the room and you'll want to find one object that's red, and then you'll go and find one orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple in the order of the rainbow. And you'll find one object. You can either say that object out loud to yourself, or you can say it in your head if you're somewhere that you can't be talking out loud. And then you want to do it again. Once you get to the end of the rainbow, go again, start with another red object, but this time challenge yourself to find a different red object and a different orange and a different yellow. And if you can't find a color that's close enough to one of the colors, find one that will pass. Find one that's just close enough that you're like, that one could pass as purple. Because sometimes we don't have too many of one or the other, but it's still a really great exercise to use because it helps ground us to the present. It helps bring us back to the room. And it is just super effective with helping calm us from a level of higher anxiety to a level of lower anxiety. I usually recommend that after enacting and using the rainbow method, that clients use another form of coping skill. One that you might use is the next one that I want to talk about, which is called the dance it out method, which is one of my favorites because I feel like there's so many ways to deal with stress and anxiety, but I like all the fun ways. If it's not fun, I'm not going to do it. So I want it to be something that's fun and something that's exciting. And especially with anxiety, anxiety is such a similar emotion to excitement that if we can use excitement and utilize that to our advantage, being excited is so much more comfortable than being anxious, but those feelings in the body are almost identical. So if we have the power to change that and to change the narrative behind the anxiety and go, okay, I know that I'm feeling anxious right now. I know that there's nothing I can do to stop it. Let's move that. Let's flip the script. Let's change the narrative and slide that into excitement. Let's use that and be excited about something. So one way that we can do that is we can use the dance it out method, and we can put on a couple of our favorite songs. We want to be putting on songs that inspire us, songs that lift us up, songs that make us feel like we want to dance, songs that have a good beat. And then get up and don't judge yourself. Don't think about your dancing. Just move your body to the beat. Let everything in your body go. Just move to the beat for a minute. Just intuitively move to the music, how you would dance, or how you would maybe impromptu choreograph a dance to this number if you were going to be putting on the music video. And so it's just a fun way to kind of shake out the nerves, shake out the nervousness in your body, get that energy out, and just use a different way to kind of get in front of that coping skill. So I really love that one as well. A super quick, if you don't have time to do that, is the smell and taste method, which is using something that you can smell or taste to bring it back to the present. That's another type of grounding exercise. And a lot of times I recommend gum or mints. Gum and mints are usually really powerful tastes. They're powerful smells, that usually menthol, if it's peppermint or spearmint, really brings us back for a second. Getting that taste on our tongue, chewing the gum, focusing on taking deep breaths. Sometimes it's something as small as that, even a sour candy will really help just bring us back to the present. Our senses are really powerful in bringing us back to the current moment. As well as journaling can be really effective. Using journaling prompts and being self-reflective about your anxiety or about your stress can help you manage it, physically see it on paper and move through it in a really productive way. So I think that's really important as well. And last one that I want to leave you guys with is just making sure that you're positively communicating with your friends and family when you need help, or if you're having too much. A lot of times I find people don't reach out when they need help. So make sure you're reaching out, and make sure that you communicate with yourself and reflect back often, like we talked about, and communicate within yourself. Notice what that internal dialogue is saying. Use those positive affirmations to help you. And if all else fails, use ice. Something that calms down our parasympathetic nervous system is ice. It's that vagus nerve that runs in our chest. And a lot of times, if all else is failing, what we can do is we can put an ice pack right over it for about 2 to 5 minutes, and it'll generally calm that parasympathetic fight, flight, freeze response down enough that we feel more comfortable and we feel more able to just come back to the present moment. So a lot of times, as a last resort, if nothing else is working, grab that ice. That usually works about 9 times out of 10. So with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for having me. My name is Hannah O'Brien. You can check me out and visit me at my website, hannah-o'brien.com, if you need any more information. And be sure to check out my free support Facebook group. I go live in there and do free coaching, free Q&As, all kinds of free resources and information just to help out my audience. So if you'd like to hear more or need more free help or tips, feel free to join that group. And thank you so much for having me. It was an honor.
Oh my goodness, Hannah, just dropped the mic. I don't know, you've nailed it. You've just shared all the nuggets on overcoming stress and anxiety. And you've also shared the positive coping skills and how we can also improve on communication. So what else is missing? What else is missing? So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Hannah, for sharing such a profound message. And I hope with your message, our audience really have been moved. More especially, you are a mental health advocate, and you've shared, I believe this is all from your experience, what you've just shared with us. So what can be our excuse? What can be our excuse of not improving our own mental health, of not overcoming stress and anxiety with all these nuggets? So thank you, Hannah. Thank you so much for the message. So now we are moving to Queen Sadie. We're moving to Sadie Evans. She's going to be speaking on domestic violence. So I'm going to grab her bio here. Sadie Evans is an author, speaker, and a podcast host of Soul Food with Sadie. She is a first-generation college grad with her degree in human services. She is also a first-generation business owner and an author. Sadie is the epiphany of self-development. She took the obstacles she was born into and utilized them as a staircase to her success. Sadie has survived childhood trauma, domestic violence, and the struggles that come with being a single parent. She knows how to turn pain into purpose, and her goal is to help others transform their trauma into triumph. So, kings and queens, please join me and welcome Sadie Evans.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes, as you said, I'm going to be talking about domestic violence in the 3 I feel like the top 3 things that goes with it as you come out of it and transform. And the first is surviving. As we know that when you're in a stressful or traumatic situation, no one's thinking about healing. No one's thinking about the transformation that's going to happen after that. We're thinking about surviving it, how to build a safety plan, how to build a support system, how to get out of this situation. So I want to give a few nuggets as well to others that's listening. If you are in a domestic violence situation, you have to survive it. And the first step is don't be afraid to secretly reach out for help. I know sometimes it seems like our abuser has isolated us and we don't think that people will understand what we're going through, or they'll ask us, why are you allowing this to go on? But reach out for help. Tell people that you don't feel safe in your home and that you need someone to help support an exit plan for you. In the midst of that, if you are able to work, build a secret stash of money so that when it is time to exit, you'll be able to exit. And do not allow yourself to get to a place of just giving up. Because when you give up, then you have basically, I feel like you have defeated the purpose that's inside of you to get out of it. And when you're out of it, you know, once the abuser, if you put them in prison, whatever the outcome is, that if you put them in prison, if you decide to leave, safely leave, when you come out of it, you're going to start a healing journey. And it's not going to feel good. Healing is not one thing that we made like self-love, healing. We made it seem like it's an easy thing. It's not easy. You're going to think about that person. You're going to want to go back because it's comfortable. But you have to go through the process of healing. And when you begin to go through that process, you begin to know who you are, who your source is. For me, I'm a very faith-based person. I believe in God. So I gained my strength there to be able to heal, know who I was, and fall in love with myself, flaws and all. And I began to see the lesson in it, although it was painful. And it was not meant, I don't believe everything you go through is meant. It was not meant for me to go through it, but being that I had the grace to survive it, then I had to go and learn the lesson. What was the lesson in that situation? The lesson I could have learned in that situation is to ask for help. The other lesson I could have learned in that situation, get out sooner. Don't think that stalking or being obsessed with me is a cute thing, because a lot of times we think that that's, oh, they like me. No, that's a sign. That's a red flag that maybe you should get out of this situation before you get too tangled in. And once you learn that lesson, you're able to grow through it so you can go back and give others advice on how to get out, or tell others things that you did to get out. And once you're done with the healing process, and like you said, Hannah, journaling, that was my biggest, that was the foundation of my healing, really journaling what I went through, really getting it out of me and being able to process it so I can see things, that areas I need to grow from. And then you start that transformation. And once you start that transformation, I feel like that's when I was planted. I really knew who I was. I really developed this love for myself and this love for others. And I also was able to give grace to my abuser, not saying go back around them at all, but be able to forgive so that you can be free and move on. And when you do that, you're able to pour back into others, as I'm doing now. I didn't see myself 3 years ago being able to even talk about this. I didn't see myself 3 years ago being an author. I didn't see myself in these positions, but once I survived it first, I was able to heal from it. And now I'm in my transformation phase where I'm able to pour back into others, and I'm able to continue to grow through what I went through.
Wow, Sadie, oh my goodness. Come on now, come on now. Like you really shared the nuggets that are needed to be known on domestic violence. Yeah. You've mentioned the surviving, healing, and transformation. Good people out there, we need to understand that, you know what, abuse is a cycle.
Yes.
Much like the cycle of addiction, emotional abuse as well as physical abuse can be perpetuated over and over again in a cyclical fashion that consists of 4 distinct phases. That's tension, incident, reconciliation, as well as calm. So we're not going to talk more about this because we're going to be talking more about this on our next podcast. So thank you so much, Sadie, for sharing your light and your experience on how we can overcome and transform from domestic violence. Thank you, sis.
You're welcome.
So now we are going to the Philippines. We have Dr. Archie Dizon. Dr. Archie Dizon is a doctor of social work, doctor of humanities, and doctor of literature. He has been a lecturer in various conferences locally as well as internationally. Dr. Dizon is a recipient of numerous awards and certifications from the Philippines and some countries from America, Europe, as well as Asia. He is currently the high school principal of Colegios do Domingo, a research editor and a seminar director, as well as an accredited consultant of private schools. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Dr. Archie Dizon.
Thank you, Dr. Rial. I am esteemed to be with you today in this very important summit. So please allow me to start with my keynote message on education. Borrowing the statement from Saint Marie Eugenie of Jesus, the foundress religious of the Assumption, education is to allow the good in every person to break through the rock that imprisons it and bring it into the light where it can blossom and shed its light. In 1993, the World Conference on Human Rights declared human rights education as essential for the promotion and achievement of stable and harmonious relations among communities and for fostering mutual understanding, tolerance, and peace. HRE is not only a moral right, but also a legal right under international law. Article 26 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights states that everyone has a right to education and that education shall be directed to the full development of the human personality and to the strengthening of respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms. Education is a fundamental human right and essential for the exercise of all other human rights. It promotes individual freedom and empowerment and yields important development benefits. Education is a powerful tool by which economically and socially marginalized adults and children can lift themselves out of poverty and participate fully as good citizens. In a world shaped by the dynamism of time, where gigantic problems like climate change, human rights abuses, corruption, fake news, historical revisionism exist, education serves as an essential tool to combat all these problems that affect and ruin human lives. Education frees us from all life's monsters that create chaos and confusions. Education intimidates all these monsters. The whole of the 21st century education is to produce students who are critical thinkers and good decision makers. Hence, it is imperative for teachers to devise new ways of doing things in the classroom. More than ever, continuous support for teachers' professional development should be at the core. The more equipped and updated the teachers are, the more that they can be instrumental in producing holistic learners. Let us join hands and take a stand. Let us fight for education. Let us fight for our future. Again, I'm Dr. Dizon, a proud education advocate. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, Dr. Archie, I know I was kind of blocked out from this. You've mentioned that education combats problems that affect and ruin our human lives. And education frees us from all the fears and the monsters. And you've also mentioned that education is a moral and legal right. What a message, what a message. Education is a right, it's not a privilege. I just saw one of the comments from Facebook. Thank you so much, our audience, for joining us through Facebook. I can see Stella is saying education is a right, not a privilege. And that's what you've just said, Dr. Archie. And thank you, Sandile, for joining. And Princess is saying that domestic violence is indeed a cycle. And Mariah is saying this is amazing, stress and anxiety. So our audience has been really moved, has been changed, has been transformed through all the messages that we are sharing on this platform. So thank you so much, Dr. Archie, for sharing a profound message on education. Thank you, sir. So now we are moving to Elena Apalkova. Elena Apalkova, she's gonna be, Elena Apalkova helps ambitious employees who desire to transform into successful entrepreneurs and double their corporate salary within 6 months while creating the life of their dreams. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Elena Apalkova.
Hello again, everyone who is listening to me. Today, I want to share with you some ideas as a mindset coach that I think everyone can change their life when they start implementing this knowledge in their lives. And the idea here, once we spoke about education, so another right that all humans have is to be rich and live abundant life. You were born rich, and everyone has this right from their birthday. And what helps us to live the life of our dreams is to use our mind. And this is not what we have or what happened with us in the past, but this is all regarding who we become, right? So as Earl Nightingale told that we become what we think about. So anytime when we become aware of our tools which we have as co-creators of God, that are high mental faculties tools, such as imagination, intuition, will, perception, memory, reason. And when we become aware of these tools and when we start using them, right? Like first we should become aware of them, then we start using them and develop them. This is when our life really changes. And if we speak about education, I think that this is what is missing in education today, because mostly what we learn just information, and all this information goes to our conscious mind. We know a lot, but if we understand how our mind works, it is not just about science or information, and not about living according our 5 senses, such as ability to hear, see, smell, taste, and touch, as most of people live, right? That they just live and having all this information and just reacting to the world based on their 5 senses faculties. They can never create life of their dreams. And another thing is that we can only live successful, abundant life when we start using these gifts. And unfortunately, nobody teaches kids about intuition, about imagination, about will, right? About perception. And actually, these are the tools which makes the difference, which make people live different and have success in life and abundance and fulfillment different from those people who don't use these high mental faculties. And it is like such gifts which we were gifted from the birth. It is not that we gain them. God gave us these gifts at the birth, but unfortunately, since we go to school, we just forget about them, right? If we look at kids, they can be given some items, right? And with these items, they use their imagination and they create castles and they just go maybe travel around the world and they feel so excited. But when kids go to school, they are told that why you dream, come back, listen to the teacher, look at your book, right? Why you dream, you should be logical, you should know how to do this, right? You should know everything before you make decision. You should be careful. And by time, this ability to use imagination and all other tools, it is just become like the muscle which are not used. And people just start living, reflecting what they can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. And if they just live by sense of faculties, they can never create anything new in their life because they think about their real facts, what is in their circumstances, what is in their real world, and they feel certain way, then they act certain way, and it is just comes again the same results which they have. So if we want to create something new, the only way is to become that person who we have to become, to have different physical world around us, because actually the physical world is the same for all people, but each of us have paradigms in installed programs in our subconscious mind, and we see the world only through those paradigms. And that's why so many people just stay at the same results year after year, and they think that I work hard, I try a lot, but there is no much result, right? And people can go for different jobs, but it is ends all that they have the same income as they did one or two jobs before. So it is not about what we do, it is about how we think. And it is so important to master these gifts, so to become aware of these gifts and start living from them, start living from seeing your purpose, seeing your mission, seeing your goal, finding out in yourself what is it that you really love to do. So many people just go for a job and they think that I should work just because I have responsibility, because I have to pay the bills. And they think that they cannot pay the bills if they do something that they love to do, right? They think that, oh yes, I love to do something, but I have to work, right? So this is disconnection between what really makes them happy, fulfilled, and what gifts and talents they have, right? They can never bring it out to the surface and create something that never exists, because we all are creators. We are so different from other creatures, right? Like all animals, birds, every other creatures, they all have this sense of faculties, right? But we are humans. We are the highest creature in the world, and we are given this ability to create. Other creatures, they have already installed programs, so-called instincts. They cannot decide like goose, right? It can just go every time it goes, for example, south. We cannot tell him like, why you go south every year? Let's go this year, go for a change to the west, right? to the east. Goose cannot do this. They have, all animals just have these programs installed in them. But what we as humans have, we have this ability to imagine what we want, to visualize what we want, and something to come take out from us, because each of us is unique, and each of us is given that unique talents and gifts. And when we just start thinking about us, what we really love to do, and we should always know that actually doing what we love to do, it is what is related to our purpose and our mission in this life. And when we really do what we love to do, then we can provide the real value. And according to the laws of this universe, that there are some we know mostly of secret, right? We just know about law of attraction, but there is law of vibration, law of compensation. So whatever value you provide, you always will get that energy and also rewards like income. That's why it is very important to find first what you really love to do, and using these high mental faculties, do it and become successful and start creating life of your dreams. This is very shortly because we have very short time, but I invite you all to my Facebook group where I share this knowledge which I learned from Bob Proctor, being a PGI consultant and having opportunity to learn from him, and also studying every day these materials from Bob Proctor and Earl Nightingale and Napoleon Hill and Andrew Carnegie, the most wealthiest and successful people in the world. And I share this information daily in my Facebook group. So you're welcome to join. You can find the link. And also I decided for this occasion of this podcast, as a gratitude gift, I decided to give my free 10 sessions for 10 people, 40-minute sessions to help you to identify your life purpose, your mission, your goals, and get that courage to go for it, because you have only one life. And every day matters, every minute, every second matters. And this is important that we live the life of our dreams. And every day we wake up in the morning, moving towards our dream, and provide the value and help people to wake up and find their gifts and talents and create more value in this world and change this world. Thank you.
Wow, Elena. You know, the moment you started talking, I'm like, okay, am I hearing Bob Proctor here? Shift your paradigm. It's the subconscious. I'm like, everything is like Bob Proctor. Now we can see that you are a product of a product. Oh, may his soul rest in eternal peace. He has indeed changed the world. He changed my life through his program, Thinking into Results. So thank you, Elena. You've mentioned that we are only living beings with the ability to create, because we are co-creators with God, and that's so true. And you've also mentioned that everything is possible when we believe, but attitude above all is the key for success. What a message. Thank you so much, Elena, for sharing such a profound, much needed message. And we see Bob Proctor through you, so thank you. I they will take advantage of your complimentary our audience.
Thank you very much. Yes, Thinking into Results was the program which also changed my life. And actually, this was very big change and totally awareness. Like, yes, this program helped me to just wake up of this hypnotic state where I have lived before, although I was considered to be successful. But when I look back, like I have my life like two parts. One life before I did Thinking into Results program, and one life after part. And it is totally different life and different results and feelings, and this feeling of fulfillment and finding really your mission and purpose in life. It makes such a big change.
That's so true. Thank you so much, Elena. And I can see our audience online really, they've been really, really good. Brendan Abbey, hi, my big brother from another mother. He's saying this is so deep, this is so true. And thank you for joining us, Lucille Sibo Lankosi. Cela, thank you for joining us. Sandila, they are watching our audience. Mariah is watching, Sebe, Princess is watching. So thank you so much to our amazing speakers. And if you happen to have any questions, good people, our audience, if you happen to have any questions to any of the speakers today here, please feel free, put in the chat box. You know what, we're going to attend to your questions at the end of the podcast. And if you haven't shared this video, I don't know what you're waiting for, because someone else has to hear this message from all these amazing speakers, starting from Hannah with anxiety, Sadie with domestic violence, Dr. Archie with the right to education, as well as Elena. Shift your paradigm, shift your paradigm. It's all about the mindset, your subconscious mind. So what will be your excuse of not going confident in the direction of your dreams? Because you've had it all. Please share with your networks. You may never know, you might be saving just one soul by sharing, or many souls by sharing as much as you can. So go ahead and share with your contacts, with your people, good people, because they need this message. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be the next speaker. Before I speak, I'm just gonna play my bio and then I will come back and speak. So enjoy.
Non-Pumelelo Rial Kunene is a highly sought-after, energetic, certified Les Brown International speaker. She is the author and host to Rise to Greater Heights, a book and YouTube channel to turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. Rial is also a coach, mentor, and an MC, well known for encouraging many to rise from mediocrity into greatness. Her vision is not only to motivate, but also to empower audiences with a fresh perspective, inspiration they require to pursue success and drive sustainable outcomes in a seriously funny way. Rial believes that we are in full control of our choices. Her mission is to meet the needs and transform lives of her clients and her audience. Rial's book, Rise to Greater Heights, has inspired and empowered many to pursue their personal and professional passion to become go-getters. Her goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs, then design a plan of inspired action to empower you to achieve specific outcomes in your life. Rial Kunene wears many hats as a professional certified sales manager, CEO, strategist, certified travel counselor, trainer, esthetician, philanthropist, diplomacy protocol officer, international human rights analyst, and a commissioner for OAS. Following her dreams gave her purpose to see her goals through and understand that she does have everything she needs to reach her full potential. Her everyday message is that your journey to be a better person starts with you. So knowing who you are to your core will make you understand that you are the only one who can accomplish your dreams. Hebrews 11, Psalm 27 and 40. Keep her to rise to greater heights. Kings and queens, please join me. Welcome, Rial Kunene!
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Like I've mentioned, that the speakers who just went before me, they've just nailed it, and they've set the bar high for me to fit. So I'm not too sure if I'm going to be able to fit in their shoes, but you know what, I'm going to try and fit in their shoes. But before I continue, I always like to double check if I'm in the right platform. How many of you with a raise of hand can say that, Rial, I have never ever complained in life? Never ever complained in life. Seemingly I am in the right platform, because you know, sometimes in life we go complaining about everything. Oh, the weather is really bad today. Traffic was worse than expected. My family drives me crazy sometimes. Oh, the movie was really disappointing. You name it. Though whining can be a way to build an inspiration, it can also keep us from acting, and it gives excuses time to procrastinate from achieving goals. One thing I've realized is that we usually complain in the wake of a negative situation. We tend to focus more on the problem than finding potential solution. It is always much easier to complain than to find a solution. And individuals who whine on a regular basis, they're up to have a bad health. So next time we'll find you complaining that, why do pizzas come in square boxes, yet they are round? And funny enough, they are cut in triangles. Does that sound like you? Yeah, please write this down, write this down. What are human rights? What are human rights? I know Hannah, she shared some nuggets on overcoming stress and anxiety with a highlight on positive coping skills, as well as how we can improve communication. And Sadie, on another side, she shared on domestic violence, how to survive, heal, and transform yourself from this abuse. And then Dr. Archie Dizon, he shared some nuggets on education. He mentioned that education combats problems that affect and ruin our human lives. And Elena, on the other side, she mentioned that we are the only living beings with the ability to create, because we are co-creators with God. So I am coming to you. What comes into your mind when you hear the word human rights? You can put in a chat box what comes into your mind when you hear the word human rights, and then I will come back and check. Because really, human rights are the fundamental rights and freedoms that are inherent to all human beings, regardless of your gender, sex, ethnicity, nationality, place of residency, religion, or even your skin color. Human rights are not just about the law. So human rights are non-discriminatory, meaning that all human beings are entitled to them. Good people, you really don't have to see the whole staircase in life, but you have to take the first step to get to the top. As my mentor always said, that you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to become great in life. So get started today. My everyday book says that you have to learn to do good, seek justice, correct oppression, bring justice to the fatherless, and plead the widow's cause. So get started today, seek justice, correct oppression, bring justice to the fatherless, and plead the widow's cause. Really, to me, it was the death of George Floyd that made me to realize that, you know what, we need to stand for a world where no one shall live in fear because of the color of their skin, and where the criminal justice system treats everyone fairly and equally. If you remember it very well, May 25th, 2020, George Floyd, he died in police custody in Minneapolis, Minnesota. This 46-year-old Black man was arrested and killed after a convenience store employee called 911 on Floyd's suspicion of passing a counterfeit $20 bill. The video that was captured by a bystander, it showed George Floyd pinned face down on the ground and in handcuffs, and one of the police officers pressing his knee against his neck as he was pleading for help. I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And finally, he fell silent. May his soul rest in eternal peace. It is so impossible not to be outraged watching that video of the Minneapolis officer pressing his knee against Floyd's neck for a period initially reported to be 8 minutes and 46 seconds. I believe that everyone is born free and everyone has the right to life, and no one should ever be subject to such unjustified violence. Hence, I am here to educate everyone to know their human rights. Always seek passion, good people. Seek passion. Try by all means to be familiar with your own human rights so that you know next time when your human rights are being violated. It's so funny. It's so funny how my mom and dad gave me this beautiful, beautiful name, Nompumelelo. I know many, they have a hard time saying my name, Nompumelelo. And I forgive them. They always butcher my name. But anyways, Nompumelelo in my own language, which is Siswati, the language of Eswatini. I know many people, they don't even know where Eswatini is. Eswatini is a kingdom, a country inside South Africa. So Nompumelelo in my own language, it means mother of all success. So you can see that I am really, really challenged to chase after success no matter what comes my way. I'll have to chase after success. If I may ask you, how many of you have dreams and goals that you want to achieve maybe in the next 6 months? I know myself, I am one of those people. I want you, as you think about your dreams and goals, to put this down. Rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights, because you need to be clear about your career goals in order for you to gain guidance on professional development. So as a mentor or as a coach, my goal is so simple. My goal is just to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs and other potential obstacles that you might be facing, and then design a plan of inspired action to empower you to achieve specific outcomes in your life. I remember it was Barack Obama who once said, the future rewards those who press on. I don't have time to feel sorry for myself. I don't have time to complain. I'm going to press on. I am going to press on. Good people, you really don't have to be politically involved to learn about your human rights. All human beings are entitled to them, and you can never, ever be excluded from your own human rights. Why? I'm glad you've asked that, because these are God-given fundamental rights and freedoms. As flight attendants always say that, put on your oxygen mask first before you assist others, because if you don't, you and the other person you're trying to help could possibly go down. So put on that oxygen mask first on yourself before you go out there and save the world. It's a wake-up call, good people. It's a wake-up call to put on that oxygen mask. It's a wake-up call to get familiar about human rights. But when that alarm clock goes off, please, please don't ever hit the snooze button. Don't be like, I will wake up in the next 2 minutes. I will wake up in the next 4 minutes. You know what? Forever is a long time. Why don't you wake up, get going, and know more about your human rights? Make a difference. Be familiar with human rights. Remember that a right is a freedom of some kind. It doesn't matter where we were born or what kind of family we were born into. We all have the internal recognition of the moral quality of one's motives and actions. Nelson Mandela once said, to deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. And trust me, this message states something within me. So I so wish that you can just tell yourself that you know what, I've had it all. It's high time I go out there and be the change that I want to see in this world. I'll have to make a difference. But in order for you to make that difference, you've got to be hungry. You've got to be hungry like the hungry lion in the jungle. That hungry lion in the jungle, really, it doesn't matter what kind of animal comes his way. It doesn't matter if we are that giant elephant or that small squirrel by the jungle. All that hungry lion sees in front of his face is lunch. It's so funny because even with elephants, when they see a lion, what they do is that they run. It's all about the mindset. Once you believe, you become. They already told themselves that, you know what, I am a lunch to that lion. So each and every time when I see a lion, I'll have to run. I believe that's the lion mindset that we need in order for us to change the world, to be the change, to make a difference, because I believe that we are only here to fix each other's crown. We are only here to be the change that we want to see. We are only here to help one another to rise together. I believe that we're only here to rise to greater heights by lifting each other up, not to step on one another. So we need that lion mindset, really. It's so funny, you know, when I was in the 8th grade, I was nicknamed Phoenix. I was nicknamed Phoenix after writing the composition using the idiomatic expression that says, I rose from the ashes like a phoenix bird, meaning I became successful again. Really, that English teacher, she didn't know that the nickname Phoenix, it resonates with me, and it also aligns with my destiny. So for those of you who don't know the phoenix bird, the phoenix is a Greek mythological bird believed to rise from its own ashes after being buried like hundreds of years ago. This immortal creature, it acquires new life by rising from the ashes of its own ancestor, which represents our capacity for vision and success. I want to encourage you, if you're listening and watching under my voice, I want to encourage you that when your world comes crashing down, wear your scars to show how a phoenix feels like to die from inside. And trust in your own capability to rise from your own ashes, since the phoenix has to die first, burn, experience pain before resurrection from its own ashes. Please write this down in conclusion. resilience to greatness. Resilience to greatness. And I know you've heard this before, that your setback is your setup for your comeback. Your setback is your setup for your comeback. So if I can be honest with you, I don't know what goals you've set for the next 6 months. I don't know what dreams you have for your future, but here is one thing I know about you. You are destined for greatness. Inside of you, God has put seeds of excellence. Those seeds are supposed to grow and flourish. But many people have become crippled by their past encounters, and some have stepped over other people to get to the top. But I believe that God has a better plan for every one of us. Your objective is what you were designed for and the reason why you live today. With God, I believe that we're all destined for greatness as long as we follow his strategy. This is when the growth commences, because discovering your gifts and following God's idea will make you understand that you have everything around you to reach to your full potential. My everyday inspiration, Mr. Les Brown, he once said, if you had to die today, at this very moment, at this hour, what dreams, what ideas, what visions, what goals, what skills, what talents, and what books will die with you? And the late Dr. Miles Monroe, he said, the richest place on this planet is the cemetery, because that's where all the goals, all the visions, all the skills, all the talents, all the ideas have been buried. Honestly, I don't know about you, but with me listening to these messages, it gave me sleepless nights. And I am really proud today to introduce Rise to Greater Heights book before you. This book is a comprehensive guide to turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. Like I've mentioned that with the whole George Floyd situation, I decided to write my book, Human Rights, which are God-given fundamental rights and freedoms. And we were born with 30 Universal Declaration of Human Rights that can never, ever be taken away from us. And, you know, I know I didn't stop there. I didn't stop there. We came together with, here we came together with 12 different authors, equal in dignity. And here, Resilience to Greatness, it's 15 different authors from being trained and coached and mentored by Les Brown, the legend himself. So we decided to write Resilience to Greatness. And here, 10 different co-authors. What's holding you back? Is it fear, mediocrity, or procrastination, or distraction? And here we have 17 different authors around the world. Cultivate your mindset for success. And I believe with all these books, they have the ability like to change your mindset. They have the uniqueness to make you to be aligned with your destiny, because I believe that having a positive mindset, more especially in this pandemic, it's so key, essential. So I also have a free transformation guide for you. It's available on my website, www.risetogreaterheights.com. And you're going to be able to explore leadership, empowerment, being purpose-driven, mentorship, mental health, emotional intelligence, resilience to greatness, and many, many more topics, including spiritual growth, as well as more about human rights. Because you know what, growing up, I didn't have much in life because my father decided to have an early departure from this planet Earth. And thank God I missed that flight, because I am here today. I am alive, I am well, and I had everything because of my mama's love. And I love you so much, Mom. So I think whosoever say that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today onwards, I, Dr. Nompumelelo Rial Gunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Thank you so much, amazing speakers. Thank you so much to our audience. So at this moment, I'm just gonna let our speakers, if you have any complimentary, any freebie that you wanna share with the audience and how the audience can reach out to you, please feel free to share how the audience can reach out to you, as well as share your final thoughts on the subject, human rights, and then we'll take it from there. So any speaker can just jump in, and I'm just gonna go and check on social media if we have any questions being posted, and if there is any speaker can just jump in and respond to those questions. So I believe Hannah, let's just keep the cycle. Hannah is gonna be the first one to share how the audience can reach out to her final thoughts, and as well as if she has any freebie. So the
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Rial. My final thoughts on this are, well, first of all, I think that what you had to say was absolutely amazing. A way to drop the mic. You had a wonderful speech. I think just to recap, just make sure that you're communicating with yourself, make sure that you're journaling, make sure that you're self-reflecting when you're having these moments of high stress and anxiety. Take a deep breath when you have a big moment. Take a deep breath. Remember that any pain, any thought, any feeling, any emotion that you have is temporary and that it will pass. And in such a time of high stress and high anxiety, when we're dealing with so many great issues and bigger issues like human rights, just control yourself. A lot of times we can't control other people, we can't control what they're doing, but you have full control over your actions, your reactions, your words, and you can utilize all of those. They have a much bigger impact than you think. So make sure to communicate with your friends and family when you need help. Use your good positive coping skills, and try to keep your stress and anxiety low if you can. And if you need help, always reach out. But a way that you can reach out to myself if you need help from somebody like me, or if you need any of our free resources, you can always go to my website. It's hannah-o'brien, OBRIEN.com. And you can visit there and hit my little chat widget in the lower right-hand corner and reach out to me and just tell me if you have a question or if you need help with something. I'm really quick. I usually get back to you within the hour. And then also on my website, you'll find our free Facebook support group. It's really lucrative. We do a lot of masterclasses, live Q&As, free coaching. We drop free resources, inspirational content. We do a lot of learning. We do a lot of growing in that group. And our constant goal is to better ourselves and to try and work on our stress and anxiety and just live a little bit more relaxing, happier lives. So if you could use a little bit more calm in your day, come join our group, come join our free support group. A lot of great things going on in there. We also do giveaways when we get to certain milestones. The next giveaway will be 500 people. So go ahead and join us. We're lots of fun and we just want to help you out. Thank you so much, Dr. Rial, for having me. It was an honor to be here.
Thank you, Hannah. I hope the audience will rush into your website because you put a lot to offer. So thank you so much, Hannah.
Thank you.
I don't see Sadie, so I believe Dr. Archidizan will be the next one.
First, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Dr. Rial for having me here. To my fellow speakers, thank you so much. I learned a lot as well. So for our audience, I would like to personally leave this message that no matter how seemingly difficult the situation is because of the pandemic and all the challenges that we are confronting in life, there's hope. Let us believe that our children remain to be our country's most important asset. To educate them is to protect them. Again, to educate them is to protect them. They say that it takes a village to raise a child. But today, I'd like to tell you that it takes a child to raise a village. So thank you so much. You can check me out in my Facebook account, RGDizon, and close by parenthesis, Captain A. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dizon. I like the way you've just switched this analogy that now it takes a child to raise the whole village. Wow. Thank you so much. I hope our audience will reach out to you as well. Thank you, Dr. Archie. I believe you are next, Elena.
Okay, what I would like to say that it is important to think big, start thinking big, and don't allow your current results dictate what you can do in the future, because your current results is just consequences of your thoughts which you had before. And once you change your thoughts, once you start thinking bigger, then you will feel different, you act different, and then your results will start to change. And if you are not happy about your results, know that it is not your fate, as many people think that, oh, my life is so just, it is my fate, right? But it is no fate. It is just why actually people think that it is a fate, because they inherited this patterns of their thinking, right? And their beliefs. And they feel that there is only way they can think and only way that they can live. But actually, we should understand that it is just like viruses, right? Like viruses, when we get virus on computer, it is not that our computer is only what it can give us, right? We should delete these viruses. We should delete those programs which don't produce us the results which we want. And we should install the new programs, right? So what we want. And everything starts from thinking, because many people actually don't understand the difference between mental activity and thinking, right? So thinking, it is not just having mental activity, all these thoughts which go in 24/7 in our mind without any control. But when we start understanding that we can be the authors of our lives and we can take control and we can start being aware of our daily habits, what we do on automatic basis, and why we don't produce results which we want. Maybe we should change those habits. Maybe we should go deeper and start thinking what is there in a voice in us, what we think about every day, what self-image we have about ourselves, right? And then we start being aware of ourselves and of our thoughts. And then when we start choosing the thoughts which we want, then our lives start really change. So what I wish to you, just be aware and just learn, study. There are so many books, and of course, if you like to learn more from what I learned from Bob Proctor and other mentors, you are welcome to join Facebook group. It is Mindset for Ultimate Success. You can find this group, or you can also reach out to me in Facebook, Elena Apalkova. You can write me, and if you want to have that gift from me that I give to 10 people, 40 minutes free session to find out what is your purpose, mission, and goals, help you to make that first move and start thinking big, I will be happy to help you with that. So you can reach out to me and let's meet and speak. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Ellen. I hope our audience will reach out to you because you have a lot to offer. When you say 10, I'm like, oh, come on, like the audience here is more than 10. So I believe the first 10 hearing this, they will reach out to you. So thank you, Elena. Sadie, you can share your final thoughts on the subject, on your subject, domestic violence, with the audience. And if you have any freebie with them, please feel free to share. You are muted. You are muted. We can't hear you.
I'm sorry. So I did follow and get into groups and stuff of individuals. So I just want to share with anyone that's listening that's going through domestic violence, do not be afraid to reach out to your family and friends for, you know, just to be heard or for support. People want to support you. It might seem like you isolated, but you are not. And I want to piggyback off of what everyone basically said about our mindset. Our mindset, I am a certified mindset coach. So our mindset, I feel like, is the fuel to everything in life. What we think is what we become. It builds our identity. It allows us to manifest the life that we deserve. So my handles is Sadie Mae Evans _coaching on Instagram. I am also on Facebook as Sadie Mae Evans Coaching as well. And my podcast is Soul Food with Sadie. I am looking for guests for my 3rd season, which is Pressing Through Pressure. So if anyone is interested, please email me at evanssadie@yahoo.com.
Wow. Thank you, Sadie. I hope our audience will reach out to you. And yes, I hope all the speakers will be the next guest on your podcast. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, amazing speakers. You know, just to take this time to be with us here at Rise to Greater Heights Network. I know we are all busy. So to spare that moment to be with us, it means the world to us. So I'm saying we are humbled and honored that you were able to make it today. Thank you, amazing speakers, and for sharing those nuggets on human rights. Really, it's life-changing. It's really life-changing. And I hope our audience has been really, really inspired from you, all of your messages. So thank you, amazing speakers. And to our audience online, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today here at Rise to Greater Heights Network, where you can turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. I hope from all these messages, you've been inspired, motivated, and you are ready to rise to greater heights. So do join us next week at the same time, same place. Thank you. Merci, Siabo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him sing. All they wanna say. Let him lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him sing. All they wanna say. Let him lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let I be me instead of playing games. For chasing fame, let somebody spread the lack of flames. No, living my life to the fullest and shout out my halala to the fullest. Let my lungs out. I'm still rising up to greater heights as long as